All right, brother, you're up.
Welcome to the BlackBald Podcast, where we dive deep into the topics that matter most. I'm black and he's bald, and here we go.
I like you done changed up the whole thing. I like it. You definitely call me by surprise with that one. Definitely. How long did it take you to make that up?
It just came to me, bro. It just came. It was,
I bet.
it was destiny.
Here you go.
Your fucking destiny.
Nah, that's dope. So yeah, bro, let's talk, just about some just topics, man. I think right now, thank you for the text message first and foremost, just checking in on us. A lot of us former teammates, a lot of us are based out of LA, and you did reach out to me and a bunch of us in regards to just what's going on in LA, the LA fires. I'm good. We're thankfully, we're a little further away now. I'm living in like the Inland Empire, but we still do have tons of friends and family that stay closer. So if you don't know what's going on or you've kind of been under a rock, LA is on fire. A lot of parts of LA are on fire. And a byproduct is that a lot of people lost their homes. So I want to read some quick stats first and foremost, just so that way we can kind of know the magnitude more so than everything else of just the fires and what's all happened. So give me a second as I pull up some notes.
While he's pulling that up, I want to just say, our condolences to anyone affected by the fires, everyone in LA. Just prayers up.
So let me see. Here we go. Where are you at? That's a downside sometimes of having multiple screens is you never know which tab is the tab on the million tabs that we have. Here we go. Let's see. Okay, so some of the facts, some as of today, January 12th, is that there are 16 confirmed deaths as of right now. Obviously, it's taking time for everyone to go through and make sure that the fires are died down before you actually start checking on bodies. So I'm sure there's probably gonna be more. Evacuations have been over 150,000 residents are under evacuation orders. Over 700 people are taking refuge in 9 shelters. Areas affected are 62 square miles, which is basically 39,000 acres, which is a lot. I think they were saying it's bigger than the city of San Francisco alone. And then if you're not familiar with the LA areas, it's the Pacific Palisades, Eden Fire area, and it is now trying to move into like the Encino area too. Over 10,000 buildings destroyed. They're estimating about $150 billion in real estate and properties destroyed. And then as of right now, as of today, it's 11% contained on the Pacific Palisades side, and then Eden Canyon side is about 15%. And so
the Malibu, there was the Malibu one too, right? Or that one's contained already?
That one's contained too.
But that was huge.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Just once again, being from LA and seeing it on camera, having family in the area. It was like a movie. Instead of it being called Twister, it was called, Fire. Like literally that was the title, Fire. Or LA Under Fire. And it's crazy to see. But when you look at it, it's sad to see more so than even crazy, because I think the biggest thing I was telling you about is just like the insurances being removed, like the liabilities being lost, the lives being lost. A lot of the areas there are generational too, meaning that the houses and the homes have been passed down, right, to just multi-generational. And so it's a lot, and it more so made me think of, yes, my family out in that area, but also to like, if that was to happen to you, what would you grab? What would you grab? Like, what would be your go-to? If you open the door and outside, literally a couple blocks down, you can see big flames on a windy, tornado type day. What do you grab? What's important to you at that point? So yeah, a lot of reflection, man. A lot of reflection. But Nick, we talked about it, and she's just like, if that ever happened, like, what would you grab? I want to hear your perspective first and foremost, and then I'll give you mine.
Yeah, bro. I actually saw the pictures or the video of firefighters that like they grab people's photo albums and things of that nature. Honestly, man, I don't even know if you're cognizant in that moment of, oh, let me go grab. I think you're just, let me get my family up out of here, right? You're not like, I don't know if I'm even grabbing anything. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what you think about that. Maybe the car keys or something. Just like maybe because it seems I mean, it seems like you know, it's a blink of an eye,
Fast.
like that fires up on you, right? You're navigating, and you're just in the moment, the heat of the moment. I don't know if some people may have gotten, you know, hours or a warning or something like of that nature, but for those who didn't, where it's just you like maybe you just woke up in the middle of the night and it's you
It's
know it's go
there.
time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just the I'm grabbing the human lives. That's as far as I can think. I mean, nothing else. I don't think like I'm putting myself in those shoes. I don't think anything else matters at that point, right? I'm not f the TV and the whatever. Like
Let it go and get going more so than everything else, just to
that's
kind of get out. And
that's it. If you have photo albums, if you're thinking that like that, you know, because those are the things you really can't get. But I mean, we got the whole photo album on
our phone.
this now anyway, right? So I don't
Yeah.
know, bro.
So
What about you?
no, same man. I mean, really, like if you were to wake up and you know, you're smelling it, you're seeing it, you open the door. I mean, the biggest thing is waking up everybody. And I mean, I'm dumping everything in trash bags just to try to put it in my car. Fortunately, I have a pickup truck, so things are gonna go really fast in the back of it, man. But it's scary, man. But like I would obviously, you know, get the family out, make sure that, you know, whatever you can throw quickly in bags, like trash bags, so, you know, clothes or wallets and stuff like that, because you don't have time to sort or think. It's really more of like, I need to get things out as fast as possible so that way we can get out of here. And then the thing that even I would be anticipating is if everyone's doing that, you already know there's confusion, there's chaos driving out, there may be gridlock in traffic too. And so it's so much to think about from just the element of like what they were going through, you know, with some of that too, right? And of course, too, the ego side of us. Well, can I turn on my water hose? Like we saw. I mean, I saw videos of people trying to, you know, save their homes and properties, man, and by turning on the water hose, and it's like it's sad. You know, it's really sad to see that amount of damage so early on in the year, too, more so than anything else. Right. It's tough, you know, and I condolences to everyone, condolences to the families. I'm curious to see how things play out afterwards because, you know, I heard we talked about it too. Like insurances have been dropped when it came to covering fire. I know they did that for us in our home too, and it's something's gonna have to happen, you know, because that's a lot of homes, a lot of people, a lot of people right now that have nothing.
So let me ask you this. So they dropped, so you're saying, I guess over the past few years or so, with fires becoming so, you know, prevalent in the California in general, right? I believe you're saying that insurance companies removed fire coverage or or removed your insurance altogether if you're in a fire area, or explain to me how that what happened.
Yeah, basically, fire, yes, is one, but like a lot of insurances were dropping coverage of California places because of fire, right?
Mhm.
Or the cost of insurance doubled or went up. And so, if you are someone that may be struggling financially, or you're just able to cover your mortgage and they're doubling, you know, even sometimes even like 1.5, you know, the amount, you're almost forcing people to try to take other options, if that makes sense when it comes to insurance. But that was, yeah, I remember getting that thing or getting that notification of like our insurance doubling. I asked why. They were like, oh, it's higher risk of winds, and we also don't cover fire. And it's just like, okay, well, I'm gonna go elsewhere. You know, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna, yeah, I'm gonna try to go somewhere where I can find coverage. And so when you started looking at majority of the insurances, they stopped covering fire for whatever reason. And maybe this is the reason, but
Were you guys able to find one that does cover fire?
no, man, most insurances now for California don't cover fire. Yeah,
Oh.
most insurance, yeah. So it's something to definitely look at. I think also it's something to definitely look at, you know, just to kind of look back at it. And I know we made updates with our insurance. I also have to double check. I need to start looking at more fine prints too, to just see now. Like this is really gonna wake everybody up to actually start to look at the fine print of the insurances, right? To see like what is actually covered, right? Is
Mm.
earthquake covered, right? Is natural, because that's a natural disaster if you want to be technical, right? Like wildfire, if you want to call it that, right? And so I know some of them, like I said, it'll say natural disaster, and then there'll be a fine print that says, but not
Mm.
fire, right? Or but not
So
earthquakes.
So what about for y'all? Do you got a different insurance, but they don't cover fire? So is there anything residents can do? Is there a separate like, oh, a fire insurance or anything like that? or you're just
You just
SOL these days. Damn.
you're just screwed. No, I mean, I wasn't able to find at the time. I'm sure there is, but I would have to probably look, just to find and make sure. But the thing I'm learning from this is we all need to look at our insurances. We all need to
Mhm.
make sure that we're properly covered when it comes to our properties, our properties, our assets, whatever. We got to just make sure that it's covered, right? So that way something like this happens, we're covered. I think there was a post I saw too, and what's going to make it challenging for people trying to file claims is what if you don't have any pictures of what you had in the house, right? And you're gonna be like, oh, I
Mhm.
lost my TV, I lost this, I lost this, I lost this. Insurance companies are going to make it really, really hard to get any type of money back afterwards. And so the post was just advising people to, I think she worked with an insurance company or she was either part of legal, but she was advising people like, take pictures of what you have so that way if something like this happens, right? And then even the people that were closer to the fires, she was saying just in case, take pictures, do videos of things because that's going to expedite that process when it comes to trying to get some type of coverage or support afterwards. But also too, if you need to get an SBA loan, right? This is proof. So I that's something I took away from it. I know we're not impacted by it directly, but it's really like, okay, like that's right. When you do an insurance claim for a vehicle, right, you need to take pictures of the vehicle. If it's a
Mhm.
home and you say I had all these different appliances in there, what's the proof? It's burnt down. What's the proof?
Yeah.
All right.
And
So
obviously, yeah, and obviously these insurance companies, ain't shit. So, clearly they're gonna do everything in their power to not pay out.
mhm.
Already they're pulling out of, clearly California, they already know because these insurance companies are super intelligent. They're using the best algorithms out there. Clearly they already know. Oh, this state's gonna be on fire every year. Like we're not covering that. Plain but point blank. Period. That's simple. They know because they calculate all that risk, and that's how they print out. Oh, this is your premium. And so, with that being said, it's like you have to, like you said, be preemptive and prepare, take those pictures and unfortunately, that's how it has to be.
Yeah, man. And I think everyone is going to kind of learn from this, right? And it's really more of, it's like when the pandemic happened, right? If this was your first time going through a pandemic, you didn't know what to expect. Now, right, we've talked about this. If another pandemic happens, we know everything that can happen from, what to expect to government shutdowns, to rights, to not rights, to vaccines. We learned all that stuff. And it's the same thing with this one. This one has and is going to teach everyone too, especially with insurance, especially with documenting, right, your assets, your properties, your belongings, right? And also reading the fine print when it comes for insurance. Like that's what I learned from it, right? And I think,
Mhm.
like you said, it's going to make us all more prepared, right? Regardless of what state we live in, it's going to make us all prepared. Yeah, man. So let's move on to the next topic. I know you haven't seen this video, so I want to search it for you. So there was a trending video that happened. The trending video was of a wife that went to a podcast and finds her husband with another woman. My God. I saw it. We're gonna watch it together real quick. We're gonna watch it together real quick, man. And I'll jump around. We're gonna watch the whole thing, but I'll jump around and then we'll just try to dive into that one real quick. Okay. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
We got our first question to the mic. Okay, they hold hands. What the fuck happened? What's your name? What's your question?
Listen, my name is Miss Moody.
Hey, Miss Moody.
Hi, I'm nervous, but I do have support here. I've been in a relationship with my baby's father since I was 16 years old. We got married. We've been married for 5 years. He recently left me, and I just saw him here with his new girlfriend.
Okay. So he's here?
Are y'all divorced?
Not yet.
Oh, that's why you give a fuck. Okay. So you gotta say that. She didn't say that.
We have two children.
So y'all are separated. How long have you been separated?
Wouldn't it be fucked up?
6 months to 8 months.
What is it? It's fucked up, right? Wouldn't it be fucked up? It's his turn with the kids. Be like, I gotta work tonight.
And you find his ass here?
He had tonight's conversation and shit. All right, hold on. Before we go further.
They're married, they're separated. He's been cheating on her for, they got 2 kids, right? I think 2 or 3 kids, and this other woman's been around for years, right?
Mm.
And so, but they happen to go to the same podcast. And so
Mhm.
first time, meeting out. And so okay, so they dive into it. There's a lot of support. No one really, she doesn't throw him under the bus. That's the first thing. We don't get to see like him or her, but it's just
Okay.
addressed, right? It's there. So I was happy about that because it would have probably been a brawl that happened afterwards and something like that. But my question is like, what's your thoughts on that, right? Obviously, we're both, in relationships, right? We're both we haven't dealt with that, right? Separation, divorce, or anything like that, right? And so one of the questions one of the hosts asked was like, what's your thoughts on dating, right? When you're separated,
Okay.
right? So obviously it's not on paper, right? But you're separated. So does he have the right?
They're separated. I mean, I don't know. Do you know the detail? Like, how long have they been separated? But I guess you already said he's been cheating, whatever. So, I
Yeah.
mean,
I think she said 6 months in the video.
6 months.
Yeah.
Okay. Separates, and they don't even live in the same house, separated, right? 6 months. Well, I mean, yes, I mean, obviously, homeboy is wrong for the cheating aspect, right? For years. Like, that's not even cheating, that's a whole affair, if you want to call it whatever word
Which has
you want
been,
to
she
use.
says it's been going for 2 years, that affair.
Yeah, so two
And he
years.
never, yeah.
Right. Cheating is like, you go over here, over there, you might you get a little something over here, get something. uh, 2 years, that's another relationship. That's an affair. That's serious, right? So he's in the wrong for that. But as far as them being separated 6 months and then, oh, we're at the same whatever venue or whatever the case may be. I mean, 6 months. What's the statute of limitation? Like, what's the man supposed to do? They're separated.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be a monk for 6 months. Like, I mean, clearly he was already, about that life. So, I mean, there's really nothing. I don't see anything wrong with it per se. Like I said, just the fact that he cheated in the first place is that he's already wrong. So in his mind, he's like, whatever, right? 6 months. 6 months later, all right, I've been cheating. What's the difference now? Now I can be open and like, right? And nothing. He did nothing wrong. So I'm confused as to what's her like. What is she gaining from like to put him on blast and talk about it? Even like maybe some. She wanted that clout, some closure, or whatever. I don't know.
I think possibly, I think that's right. I think it's possibly closure, but I think also you can see in part of the video that there's a little bit of shakiness, right? There's a little bit of emotions too from her part. So I'm sure of it. Like when you are, as we know, right? Whether you break up, separated, divorced, there's still feelings, right? And when you have kids, that amplifies, right? You obviously had to have sex to even get here, right? And you have two, right? So there's history. There's sweat. There's a lot of sweat, right? So, and who knows, right? Maybe it's a situation where they had sex during the separation. They had sex, right? So there's a whole nother level of like pull and push when it comes to like emotional, right? For both women and also men too. So I think that was part of it. I think seeing him out, bro, it could have been worse. It could have been worse. She can like, and he's there right there. And everyone, the camera pans over there, all the social media
I mean,
iPhones
you're
come
already
out.
here. You might as well have just done that. I want to just go full go. I want to see his reaction. Like,
He would have walked up to the mic,
the
start talking
camera
shit.
pants and be like, you might as
Yeah.
well. You want to put him on blast? Put him on full blast, girl. Shoot.
And I think also there's a feeling of probably shock and betrayal. You can say that, right? Maybe not from him, right? But for her, right? Like and we've talked about this, right? When it comes to relationships, there has to be respect. There has to be respect. And maybe he didn't know that they were going to both be at the same podcast. Who knows, right? Maybe she showed up last minute, but there has to be a certain level of respect. And if there's no respect, then things like that can happen, right? And then you can feel betrayed and stuff like that. But, without knowing the full backstory, I'm sure that they've probably had some type of, relationship or more connection. That I'm going further. You got anything to say about that?
I mean, I don't know nothing about the situation, so now I'm speculating. But now that I'm ruminating on, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, okay, 6 months later, he's at the podcast with his new honey boo, and ex-wife shows up, puts him on. But I'm thinking this woman is stalking me, and
Yeah.
y'all want to put her on a pedestal on social media or whatever. Oh, she's brave. Or da, 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 da. Like, nah, she's stalking me. I need a restraining order. I don't know. I'm fearing for my life. I don't know. Once again, disclaimer, homeboy's wrong. Don't come for me, internet. Don't come for me. I said he was wrong first and foremost. He cheated on the sanctity of his beautiful marriage. He's a bastard. But no, I'm just kidding. No, but no, I don't know. I don't know that she, like the ex-wife, I don't believe she didn't know that they were gonna be there. You know what I mean? I
I can
think
see that.
it seems calculated or something.
I don't know, but us in the black community, we keep the same group. So who knows if it's the same circle, right, of people and influence and following and stuff like that too as well. So she's gonna have to get used to seeing him and her possibly, for a long time if they're within the same circle, same city, and everything like that. One of the hosts did say, like it was the. I wish I would have sent you the video first and foremost so we can unpack it. I think when
Yeah.
things like that happen, you are off social media, so it's hard sometimes
Yeah,
sending you things, right?
I'm out the loop. So
Yeah. But I saw it and I was just like, man, like the whole time I'm watching, I'm like, did she point them out? Because that would have been epic. But I think she handled it well. I think the host gave her a lot of feedback in the sense of like healing, moving on, learning from it. You're gonna get stronger from it. Some of them made jokes about it too, right? The other dude was like, "Man, fuck that nigga, fuck you." It's not like,
fuck
but
you, fuck you, fuck you.
oh, but yeah, man, it's I wanted to talk about that because I'm just like I don't know what I would do in that situation. Let's just say I was all right, prime example, right? If you were on all right, you're separated, right? And you go out to a conference and you happen to see, your wife, because you guys aren't fully divorced yet, there with another man. What are you doing?
Man, well, you said 6 months. I mean, 6 months. I better be there with somebody else too. Like, first of all, but nah. I mean, it's there's gonna be emotions both ways. More likely, more than likely, right? Yeah, it's a terrible situation. And where your kids at? Who watching y'all kids? Why y'all out here? With this tomfoolery for the gram. Where your kids at? This whole situation is just.
When the host asked that too, right? They were just like,
Did
yeah, they said, where are the kids? And it would be worse if he was supposed to be watching the kids and he's like, oh, I'm sick and he's out. I'm like, oh shit, that's the worst. So, but all right, brother. Let's go next topic, man. We're heavy on the fitness tip. You've done something that a lot of people haven't been able to do. You've been fasting. You've been doing longer fasts. I do intermittent fasting within hours. You've been doing days. One, how do you
Yeah.
feel? And tell us about it.
Man, honestly, I feel phenomenal. I've lost, what have I lost? Probably about a good 20 pounds in the past few months or so. Just I've been intermittent fasting for years now, maybe going on how long probably been like a decade we've been intermittent fasting at least. But I just recently started adding the prolonged fast. And I'm just kind of baby stepping it, one day. And then I worked my way up to, I started with 3 days, did these 3-day water fasts. And, there's all kind of science behind it as far as immune system recovery and whatnot, generating new white blood cells and the keyword autophagy, which is like your cells regenerating, like the old, your body getting rid of the old cells, regenerating new cells. And they say the longer you prolong your fast, the more health benefits and so on and so forth there are. Matter of fact, I watched this documentary recently. It's a free documentary on YouTube actually, and it's these two Australian brothers. They do this 21-day fast. And throughout the documentary, they talk about how there's this woman on there. She does a 10-day fast. She had like hepatitis something, hepatitis A, B, C, D, whatever, which one it was. And you know what I mean? One of those where it's like, oh, this is uncurable. Or you're with it forever and you have to take these medicines. And she just did a 10-day fast. Boom, boom, like went to the doctor. Oh, your hepatitis is gone. And there's all kinds of cases like this. A guy on there had cancer. He was doing chemo and all this stuff. The cancer is still there. So coming back, did this. I think he did the full 21, if I'm not mistaken, full 21 days. Goes back, cancer's gone. And so there's miraculous stories and I mean, just inspiring stories of people overcoming disease and pain and so on and so forth, and like regenerating their bodies. And then I think they said after like after day 5 or day 5 and plus or whatever, your body starts regenerating or generating stem cells. And we all know stem cells, like those are the most powerful cells known to man, right? It can go anywhere. Let's say you got an ankle problem, okay, the stem cells can go there and regenerate anything. So yeah, man, there's all kinds of positive health benefits with fasting. I'm just kind of now touching the surface. So, I've worked my way up to 5, and I'm trying to hopefully maybe someday I'll get to that 21. But right now we have 5. That's where we're at.
I think the longest I've ever done has been, I would say probably 20-hour fast, maybe 20 hours, 20. Like it's, I mean, thankfully there's sleep, but yeah, I think that's the longest. And I mean, there are benefits. I mean, there's tons of benefits of feeling depleted too. That like I love that feeling of like not feeling bloated, not feeling heavy. You have less aches for sure. Talk to me about like you are on day 5, right? You said
I completed my 5-day. I'm not fasting right now, but
okay.
yeah, no.
All right. So
No, I did 5 days.
a lot of people struggle, obviously, even with intermittent fasting of doing a few hours. What is
Mhm.
your workout like, right? If you are not eating for days on out, right?
Mhm.
A day, 2 days, like what is your workout like? Are they from an intensity perspective?
So from an intensity perspective, I definitely slow down. I definitely feel less energy. I mean, obviously you're gonna feel it depending on where you're at. So like day 1, 2, even 1, 2, 3, you still got energy. Like actually, you feel good. I felt good 1, 2, and 3. I'm not even hungry, really. You got that energy. Your body's now, going off ketones. You're in ketosis, and then yeah, I feel energetic actually. And then about day 4, day 5, I was probably a little more famished, felt a little weaker. So my workouts were less intense, but I'm working out. I just slow down. I'm not. It's not high intensity interval training. It's whatever intensity you can muster that day. You know what I mean? But I do make it a point to. I'm still strength training still, and still getting my cardio in as well. It's just, yeah, a little less intense for sure.
And then everyone wants to know, right? And I think we've talked about this. I firmly believe this. I've told clients this. I believe it with myself too. If you go back in the day where our ancestors, you can even say 4 generations, 5 generations ago, right? The obesity rate and the health complications that we have now, they weren't as high, right? Now the
Mm-hmm.
difference is, right, with today now, we don't move nearly as much as them, right? We don't like I remember my dad and even one of my uncles talking about they had to walk miles. Miles, I'm talking about 30, 40. Like I know how far some of the villages are. They had to walk 40 miles to get to go see a friend, right, in another village. And it's like, when's the last time we walked 40 miles in a day?
Mm-hmm.
Or not in a day, but just like, like when? Right? We don't do that, right? We try to get 10,000 steps. We try to
Anybody
get
got time for that, bro?
no one got time for that, right? And then if you even really go to back, like if you look at it like our hunter gatherers, right? They went days without eating. And then they found food, they killed it, which is still using energy. They cooked it, right? And then they went days again. And so our bodies are a lot more resilient than we feel. For you to go 5 days, for this person, you say to go 20 days, 30 days, like that's crazy. That's definitely crazy. And I'm sure there's so many other benefits of like not even just that, but like from a spiritual perspective and a mental perspective of like, and you start to feel like it's crazy.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, like you said, there's mental benefits, spiritual. I mean, obviously physical with the body. But I think the more you actually do it, the more you fast and you complete these, even on 1 day, 3 day, 5 day, whatever. It does something. It's a boost as well to just your overall, like, I can do hard shit. You know what I mean, bro? Like there's a
Gotcha.
boost to that, but like piggybacking on our convo last episode about Ozempic and whatnot, right? Like you're not getting that boost from Ozempic. Like, or I took a pill, or I took a needle in the ass and I lost weight. Like, okay, like I'm over there's also the overcoming yourself, that self-mastery, that self-control aspect, which is huge, especially when we're talking about these, these addictions with this food and whatnot. And so, I mean, you're even talking about like, yes, there is that back in the day, like you said, our fathers blah, 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 walking 40 miles in the snow and the blah, 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 like they used to say. But also, I mean, we have this just hyper palatable, just food that's genetically engineered to make to just be just so delicious that you can't stop eating it. It's tough, man. It's tough with this food that we so I think fasting is a great way to actually break out of that cycle of that addiction, and back to that keyword of addiction. Or our food is another addiction that we have. The sugar. I just found out, like, if y'all Google this, chat GBT, whatever, like if you see the amount of sugar that it's such a small amount of sugar that we're actually supposed to ingest. Like it's everybody's got to be have toxic amounts of sugar in their body right now. Like it's crazy. It's like a teaspoon of sugar in your blood.
For a daily
That's
consumption.
not even a day. Like I think I'm butchering it, but it's I just saw recently. It's like I think like a teaspoon or like half a teaspoon of sugar in your blood. That's diabetes. That's because the insulin. Usually we eat the sugar stuff, blah blah blah, and the insulin, clears the diabetes from the blood. So literally, when the insulin cannot clear the sugar from your blood, and it's like a teaspoon or half a teaspoon or something like that, that's diabetes. It's like, what? Like that's all it takes to be diabetic is like that small amount of sugar. Like not saying if you just eat a teaspoon, but it's like that's the amount of sugar that makes you quote unquote diabetic. If that's that amount of sugar in your blood, like a very small amount, and we eat it like it's cool. You know what I mean? It's crazy when you really look at it from that perspective of things. And that's something I just found out. And I know I've been eating sugar like it was nobody's business my whole life. And so now, now being cognizant of that, it's like, dang, like, man, sugar is terrible for you. It's the worst.
That's interesting. I mean, when you look at it, yeah. I mean, I'm just looking at right now what a gram of sugar looks like. And some of these one cookies are 15 grams of sugar. Like
exactly, bro.
crazy.
Like that stuff is killing us, and it's like, oh, we think it like I used to smack a whole box of Oreos, like that's death. Like it's just you're just like, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
My body will take care of it.
I've never really looked at it from a tablespoon perspective or a gram perspective, right? Like let me see something real quick. I'm just gonna pull it up.
Yeah, bro, it's scary when you really look at it from that perspective. It's scary, actually. I'm like, damn.
Let's look at Chips Ahoy nutrition facts real quick. Here we go. All right. So nutrition facts. We don't have to put this on the. You know what? Why not? Why not? Let's just put it on the screen too. If you're cool with that. All right. So looking at here we go. All right. So this is Chips Ahoy right here. Okay. And sugar wise, this has 11 grams.
11 grams.
11 grams of sugar.
And that's in a serving. That's 3 cookies is a serving. People know that 3 cookies, 11 grams. Nobody eats 3 cookies. Y'all eating a box just like I did. Stop lying.
Nah, I mean, man, that's yeah. I mean, that's crazy when you look at it, and we're talking about. So let's just use this one right here. All right. 11 of these?
11. And that's in 3 cookies.
Yeah.
3.
So we that's a lot.
Most of us eating the whole damn box.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah. I mean, it makes you really, No, it makes you really look at it from a different perspective.
Different perspective, bro. I just saw this recently, like maybe this past week or a week or so ago. It's just like, wow, change it. Like, that's when I needed to see to change my perspective of like, oh man, I've been eating death my whole life, and I know. It's like just.
But with that being said, and I think we've talked about this too, man. Like The Yuka app, thank you for that too. Just because like now I just have the informed decision to just look at labels. One of the bacon that I had in there, I was like, it wasn't scanning right. I'm like, okay, you know what? I can manually enter it. I didn't know I can manually enter it in there, so I did.
Oh, okay.
And so and it was all right, cool, bad. Right, here's why. Right, and so I I've been using it really only for a few days and just trying to like go back to like Whole Foods and stuff like that. And I'm losing weight, you know, and
Nice.
it seems easier, you know what I mean? So I'm curious to see how it, you know, I'm gonna continue it and just try to stick with what, you know, what greens or yellows and stuff like that, and just
Mhm.
see, you know. But yeah, man, like sugar kills. If you look at it, carbs is sugar too, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, I've never looked at it from a teaspoon perspective. That would hit home,
Yeah.
right? You know what's crazy? That would be a great visual. We're like, that would be a great visual. How many grams of sugar are in your favorite drink? Cool. Here's a gram on a tablespoon. That's one. That's two. Okay. Hey, drink this right now. Well, you don't know because it's a cocktail, right?
Mhm.
It's your favorite cocktail, right? So it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, bro. It's wild. And then yeah, and then when you really break down what like table sugar, you know, I forget the specifics, but it's like we know glucose, there's glucose and then fructose. And I think table sugar is glucose and fructose. So
Mm.
glucose is what our body naturally creates and we use for energy and whatnot. Now fructose is kind of it's foreign. And so
Okay.
that's what actually like, you know, screws up our whole insulin and all that good stuff. That's Chat GPT. Chat GPT, what give us a better definition.
I got you. I got you. Okay. What difference in say fructose?
Fructose and glucose. So I know if you just put table sugar is glucose plus fructose, I believe. And then see what that glucose, see what the difference is between that versus just glucose itself.
All right, here we go. Primary differences of fructose, chemical structure, a simple sugar with unique five size, source, food naturally in fruit, honey, some vegetables is also a key component. Fructose is metabolized by the liver, right? Unlike glucose, it does not stimulate a insulin response. Okay, right? Glucose, a simple sugar with six-sided ring found in carbohydrates like bread, pasta, rice, and starchy vegetables, also present in fruits and vegetables alongside fructose. Glucose is in the body's primary energy source. It enters the bloodstream directly, triggering the release of insulin to help cells absorb it and use it. Glucose is metabolized by nearly every cell in the body, not just the liver. Table sugar, all right. Table
Uh-huh.
sugar, sucrose, all right. A disaccharide composed of one molecular glucose and one molecule of fructose. Extracted from sugar cane and sugar beet, it's most common for added sugar in processed foods and beverages. Sucrose is broken down in the digestive system and glucose and fructose by the enzyme sucrase. Once broken down, glucose is absorbed by the bloodstream while fructose is sent to the liver for metabolism.
And so I think that's what the issue is like your liver can only break down so much of it. And then that's why we start seeing this like fatty liver disease that
Mhm.
we see in people because your liver can only handle so much of that fructose. But
And all of it contributes to obesity,
exactly, obesity,
heart
diabetes, heart
disease.
disease, but whoop de whoop, cancer.
Yeah. And so, yeah, and I was saying too, like, of course, health implications. Fructose, excessive intake. Excessive is, I mean, we just saw 1 teaspoon and 1 tablespoon, right? So what's excessive? 5, 11 for 3 cookies.
Three cookies,
And like you
three
said,
cookies, you're
no one
dead.
stops at just 3. Let's times that by 6. So 22 tables. Okay. Excessive intake, especially for added sugars, is linked to metabolic disorders. 2, glucose, vital for energy, but can contribute to weight gain and blood sugar issues if consumed excessively. Right. And table sugar, a common source of added sugar, overconsumption contributes to obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. So you want to stay away from all of it, right? And minimize it. So it's crazy, man. Like I feel like now, as we're getting older, it's not now that we're out of our 20s, like it's like right now or never, right? Like we gotta grab everything from health, from fitness, and like so that way when we get 40, it's not so complicated. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying
Yeah,
to use my
same.
30s right now so that way I can be better, stronger going to my 40s, my 50s, my 60s. Right.
Exactly.
And so I don't want to wait till I'm 40 to do like, so now it's like, okay, like it's good that we're getting this information. It's good that I'm walking more. It's good that I'm doing intermittent fasting. It's good that I'm strength training because now it is like if we don't use it, we're gonna lose it. And so we have to now be on top of it. So I'm happy, man, with the apps you've sent me. I don't use my fitness pal as much. I think what's more, yes, calories matter, but honestly, what's mattering more now, and what matters more now is what's in it, right? What's in the nutrients, right? Is it a lot of process? Is it cleaner?
Exactly. And for those of you who don't know, that the app that Carl's talking about is this app called Yuka. They're not a sponsor yet. Hey, reach out, Yuka. We'd love for you to be a sponsor. But yeah, the Yuka app, you can literally YUKA, and you scan whatever barcodes up in your house, whatever's in the grocery store when you're grocery shopping, and then you scan and it'll show you, the calories, the fat, the sugar, it'll break it down nutritionally, and then also it'll show you the additives, and if there's anything that's uncouth or anything bad in the additives. And and it's not just food, it's your lotions, your shampoos, because this is another thing I found out recently, right? We have the skin. Everything we actually put on our skin actually gets absorbed into our bodies as well. So we think, oh, we're just putting lotion on, or the shampoo or body wash or whatever. It's like, no, that stuff is actually seeping through your skin and going into your blood as well. You know what I mean? So these are all things to consider, not only what you put in your mouth, what you're putting on your body as well, chemicals and all this stuff. Like we talk about the BPA and these plastics and things of that nature. Yeah. Just be aware, people. Just be aware.
Man. Hey, man. So what's going on with you and I was gonna say music? You've been quiet with that. Like, what's the plan for music?
Oh, musically, first of all, we're still here. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. The music is in me. It's not on me. But yeah, no, there will be new music going in the future. As you know, we've been on this journey together of just learning the financial markets and whatnot. And so that's been my primary focus. And then obviously we have our families and just you know our, not to mention business, is just like a bunch of different pullers, right? So it's just a matter of stabilizing all those things, and then creating that space, creating that time, kind of like we've done now with this podcast, right? We've created that space to, like, okay, boom, we have time to do a podcast. So, like, same thing. I need to do the same thing personally and create a time to, like, okay, let me dedicate this time to myself and my music. And yeah, that's where we're at. But no, that we're still here. We're still black.
Yeah, man. I always gotta ask, man, just to make sure that I think we talked about it too. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's getting older, but like I'm wanting to lean back into the things that I find joy in, right? Like I haven't video edited in years, right? I love editing. I've done it for my businesses and stuff like that, but I haven't done it in years. And so now wanting to get back into that, it's crazy. Here's the epiphany. It's crazy how all the stuff that like I did in college, right? All the things I did early on in my business are things that now are skill sets that I can charge for and turn into businesses, right? And so now it's really like, okay, like how do I do what I want to do? I'm getting back to that phase now. It's like, how do I do what I want to do with the things I enjoy doing? And if you can make money out of it, cool, it's a blessing, right? But if I can just do it, also it's a blessing too, right? And it's crazy how like things are coming back like full circle, like all the time and struggles and effort when it comes to like learning and self-teaching, when it can become a skill and you can actually monetize it and it's enjoyable, I think that's when things get fun, right? And it doesn't feel like, we say it all the time, like we want to make it seem like we're not working. So I'm excited about that. I mean, shit, I helped you with your one. I mean, you let me help you with one of your videos, man. Like, I'm like, I never, even back then, it's like we're in college, young kids out in these streets, right? But it's like the technology now, and I think that's where I'm like so like a kid in that candy store, right? Some of the technology now with AI and all that stuff, it's like if I would have had this years ago, when we did your first video, I was like, it's fast.
I can only imagine, man.
It's fast, man. It's much
I can't wait.
faster. You know, you can. All right, cool. We're gonna make this clip an AI version. We got versus what I have to do things by pixels and After Effects and imported it in. So yeah, man. Anything else you got?
Yeah, man, I think we did that thing. You know, BlackBald, baby.
I agree. I like the intro too. I like the intro. I thought it's clean. You know, it flows a little bit better too as well. One thing that we're gonna do is, as trends and things happen, we'll send it to each other. I know you're off social media, so I'll probably be texting it to you instead.
Yeah, you usually gotta text it. Yeah, just send it.
So that way we can discuss it. You know, so you don't hear it. You over here your own little bubble. You don't see nothing.
Straight up. Now, a client had to tell me that LA was on fire. I wouldn't even know. That's how disconnected I am.
I just stopped responding. CC Carl's just out. He's not answering anymore. I died in the fire mode. You didn't see me on the news. You didn't see it on the news. Nah, bro.
Man.
Appreciate you once again. Those of you guys are watching the video, like, subscribe. Tell us how we can improve. If there's certain topics that you guys want us to talk about, let us know. If there's certain things that are trending you want to talk about, let us know. And then go ahead, bro. You can take us out.
All right. BlackBald Podcast, baby. I'm black.
I'm bald.
And we're BlackBald.